Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The House will come to order. In the absence of clergy, we will pause for a moment of silence. Visitors are invited to join the members in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I'm going to get to our schedule for the day in just a moment. Before I do that, first I'd like to encourage members to make their way to the chambers. We still have a number of members who have not checked in or are not here, and we obviously would like them to be here so we can conduct our work, and I would encourage that. So let's move over to the chambers. Also, before we start, I know we have a number of introductions, but before we do that and before I get to our schedule, let me just acknowledge a few moments in history on this day, February 9th, throughout the years. For instance, on this day in 1870, Mr. Speaker, President Ulysses S. Grant signed a joint resolution of Congress creating the United States Weather Bureau, which tells us a great deal about what's going to happen or not. But we appreciate all their good work. On this day in 1955, February 9th, the American Federation of Labor and the Congress of Industrial Organizations unions merged to become what is now known as the AFL-CIO. And finally, on this day in 1971, Leroy Page, better known as Satchel to his friends, became the first Negro League veteran to be nominated for the Baseball Hall of Fame. At a time when baseball was segregated in the 1920s, Satchel Paige spent most of his career pitching for leagues and teams around the United States until 1948, when he signed with the Cleveland Indians and became the oldest rookie in Major League Baseball at the age of 42. And an extraordinary talent Satchel Paige was indeed. Let me now take a moment to just review briefly for members what our schedule for the day will be. Members have on their desks a main calendar. We will be working off of the main calendar after any introductions and housekeeping. We will begin with new bills starting at calendar number 370. Once we've completed the new bills that have just come onto the calendar this week, we will then return to calendar number 97 and continue to consent where we left off last week. Members should be aware there will be two committees called off the floor. So if you're a member of either the Consumer Affairs Committee or the Racing and Wagering Committee, you should be alert for announcements from the desk on those meetings when they are called. Majority members should also be aware there will be the need for a conference once our work on the floor has been completed. And with that as a general outline, Mr. Speaker, I note that there are some members that have introductions. This would be the appropriate time to do those, sir.
For the purposes of an introduction, Ms. Gunther.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to interrupt the proceedings to introduce a group of youth from Orange County. They are representatives of the Junior Leadership of Orange, Middletown Mayor's Youth Council, Summer Youth Leadership Academy, the Orange County Youth Advisory Board, to the board and president, Orange County Safe Home and Adult Leaders. These students come from Valley Central School District, Middletown School District, Pine Bush School District, Minisink School District, and Newburgh. We also have Mayor DeStefano, the mayor of the city of Middletown, with us. Please, Mr. Speaker, I would ask you to give them all the cordialities of the House and to this fine group of students. Thank you.
Certainly, on behalf of Ms. Gunther, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome this excellent group of students here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floor. We welcome you also, Mayor. Thank you for your interest in your young people. It speaks a lot to their leadership that they look for on your behalf. Thank you again all for coming. You are always welcomed here. Thank you. Mr. Tedesco for an introduction.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm very honored and proud to introduce to you in this body an outstanding group of students and athletes from the Burn Hills Ballston Lake School District. And before I do that, I just want to remind everyone here that this school district is celebrating, Consolidated School District, 100 years of existence in New York State. Number one in terms of first ever reach that anniversary. And these outstanding young ladies are the Burn Hills Ballston Lake Girls Varsity Soccer Class A champions for, volleyball. What did I say, soccer? Well, they probably could be champions in soccer, too. Volleyball champions. And the Spartans finished with an overall record of 31-1, breaking a school record for victories this season. During this historic run, the Spartans were crowned champions of the Harold Van Erden Tournament, Baldwinsville Tournament, John Glenn Tournament, Suburban Council, Grade Division, and State Regionals. The team finished the season ranked 24th in the nation by MaxPreps.com. They captured the 2015 New York State Class A Championship with an impressive 25-16, 25-17, 25-19 victory over Walter Panis High School of Cortlandt Manor on Sunday, November 22nd, 2015 at the Glens Falls Civic Center. The victory marked the school's sixth state title and first in 2012. In addition to their outstanding accomplishments, the Spartans displayed extraordinary academic effort in the classroom by achieving a scholar athlete team grade point average of 97.61%. Very close to what my academic average was when I was in school. Not really. Let me introduce those players, and they can just raise their hands when I do introduce them. Natalie Albright, Ashlyn Apfel, Nikki Blatnick, Mila Dobson, Jessica Fowler, Mila Hugenberm, Kate Isaacson, Megan Keys, Olivia Lewandowski, Alexandra Polusic, Avery Pollard, Natalie Sherman, Hannah Schell, Kira Walsh, and Kelly Walters. And of course, I'm sure they would all say they couldn't accomplish those great achievements in volleyball if they didn't have some outstanding coaches. And their coaches in the back there, Gary Bynum, assistant coaches Melissa Armstrong, Sue Gueswick, Maria Aloco, and athletic director Joe Scalise. And we have some board members, too, for this outstanding school. They're kind of in the back. Will Farmer, Leanne Merchloff, and school board president John Blowers. Mr. Speaker, we're very proud of their achievement, and they're champions, each and every one of them. As you know, we passed a New York State resolution in honor of them, passed unanimously, which is a good thing here in the New York State Assembly chambers. I would ask you to welcome them and offer them all the cordialities to the champion volleyball girls Class A champions from Burn Hills Ballston Lake High School.
Certainly. On behalf of Mr. Tedesco, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome this extraordinary group of student athletes here to the New York State Assembly, to your coaches and your supporters and the board. We also welcome you and extend your congratulations on doing what's necessary to help these young women be successful in their high school careers. We will clearly look forward to hearing from you when you go to college, and you are always welcome here, and you extended the privileges of a floor. Thank you so very much, and congratulations. Mr. Miller for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'm honored to have with me members of independent residences formerly from Woodhaven, now in Queens Village, I believe, but they're up here lobbying all you guys for a better cut that they can get to take care of their staff. But I'm very honored to have them. They're friends of mine. They come up each year. I just want to introduce Ravi Dahir, the Associate Executive Director, Doug Trebell, Jason Ross, and Moses Bria. But I also have with me the president of the Forest Park Action Club, Arthur Mims. Arthur is president for the third time in the Action Club, and Jason Scalzo, who is also the vice president of the club. And would you please extend to them the courtesies of the House?
Certainly. On behalf of Mr. Miller, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome you here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floor. This is the People's House. You are always welcome. We hope that you enjoy this day in Albany, and clearly that Mr. Miller is very proud to have you here so that he may introduce you before us. Thank you so very much for coming. Mr. Kearns. Mr. Brindisi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today for what I guarantee will be the sweetest introduction of the day. And the reason it's so sweet is because we're talking about a great New York State product, maple syrup. We're joined today by several students from the Vernon Verona Sherrill School District in Verona, New York. They are part of the Future Farmers of America. You've seen them walking around the Capitol today wearing their jackets from all over the state. These students are here today lobbying on behalf of the Future Farmers of America for agricultural education, and they're doing a great job and are great ambassadors for their school district. So with us we have Jacqueline March, who is the New York State Maple Ambassador and VBS FFA Student Advisor, Dorothy Roberts, who is the VBS FFA Reporter, and Vincetta Borst, who is a VBS FFA member. Mr. Speaker, would you please offer them all the cordialities of the House?
Certainly. Ms. Tinney on the same subject.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I join my colleague to also welcome a couple of the members from VBS, and I'd like to add Assemblyman Blankenbush and Assemblyman McGee, who also represent parts of this district. And with us we have Travis Clapper, who is a member, Tate Tiller, a member, owner of real estate, Kaya Green, she's the VBS FFA reporter. She's also the Oneida County Maple Ambassador, and Lydia Durant, who's also a member. And if you would, Mr. Speaker, please welcome these great students from our very special VBS FFA in Verona, New York. Thank you.
Certainly. On behalf of Mr. Brindisi, Ms. Kenny, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome these Future Farmers of America here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floor. We commend you on your activities and the work that you're doing to ensure that this state will stay strong and have a future in farming. Thank you so very much. And to you, Ambassador, I've got a sweet tooth, so I'm happy to hear you here. Thank you so very much. Assemblymember Cusick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I had the privilege of introducing someone who's no stranger to this chamber, a former colleague of ours, former assemblyman, former city council minority leader, and current Staten Island president and chair of Staten Island Catholic Charities, Mr. Vincent Ignizio. Vinny served here. Yeah, don't boo him, please. He's our friend. Vinny served here in 2004 to 2007, then went to the city council, was the minority leader in the city council, and now is working for Catholic Charities. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of my colleagues and friends from Staten Island and all my colleagues here, I'd like you to welcome our former colleague and dear friend, Vincent Ignizio.
Certainly. On behalf of Mr. Cusick, Vincent, once a member, always a member. It does appear that from here to the City Council and now to Catholic Charities, you found your way to heaven. So congratulations. Your wisdom and vision must be applauded. Thank you for here. You are always welcome. Mr. Sturpey for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Joining us today are a number of mayors and trustees from my district. From East Syracuse, we have Mayor Robert Tackman. From Fayetteville, Mayor Mark Olson. From Tully, Mayor Beth Greenwood. From Manlius, Mayor Paul Worrell. Also from Manlius, trustee Scott McGrew. And Mayor Dick Donovan from Manoa always has the biggest entourage, so he has Trustee John Champagne and Trustee John Abbott with him. As they always remind me, they are the level of government closest to our citizens and provide many of the critical services that villages need. So could you please give them your normal warm welcome, thank them for their service, and provide them all the cordialities of the House.
Certainly, on behalf of Mr. Sturpey, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome this distinguished group of public servants here to the New York State Assembly. We thank you for the work that you do in taking care of your communities and your towns and villages. Thank you. Nobody understands the sacrifices that you make maybe better than this body. Please always be welcome here. We're happy to see you. Thank you for coming. A quorum being present, the clerk will read the Journal of Monday, February 8th. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move to dispense with the further reading of the Journal of Monday, February 8th, and that the same stand approved.
Without objection, so ordered. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. If we can begin on page 3 of the main calendar, we're going to take up first Assembly Resolution 960 by Mr. Walter.
Clerk will read.
Resolution number 960, Mr. Walter. Legislative resolution memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to commemorate February 14, 2016, the 18th annual Hunter's Hope Foundation Day of Hope and Prayer for Children in the state of New York, in conjunction with their annual day to raise awareness and support for Krabbe disease.
On the resolution, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 961, Mr. Cusick. Legislative resolution memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim February 14, 2016 as Direct Caregivers Day in the state of New York.
On the resolution, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted.
Resolution number 962, Mrs. Gunther. Legislative resolution memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim February 14, 2016 as a Day for Hearts, Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Day in the state of New York.
Ms. Gunther, on the resolution. Let's
Today,
have him quiet down a little bit, please.
Today I rise in support of the resolution memorializing the governor to proclaim February 14th as Congenital Heart Defect Awareness Day in the state of New York. About 40,000 babies are born with a congenital heart defect every year. That's about 1 in every 100 births. Babies with CHD often show no symptoms before they leave the hospital. In 2013, this body voted unanimously to support legislation requiring birthing centers to perform pulse oximetry screening on newborns, which I sponsored. That day was one of my proudest days in the New York State legislature. We'll never know all the babies whose lives were saved because of this law, but we can certain that families across New York State can breathe easier knowing that their newborn is being screened for congenital heart defect. Thank you.
On the resolution, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The resolution is adopted. Mr. Morelli. Mr. Morelli, for the purposes of a introduction.
Yes, thank you, sir. I am delighted on behalf of myself and Mr. Bronson to recognize and introduce a dear friend of mine, Lori Van Auken, who is the Executive Director of Catholic Charities Community Services in the Greater Rochester region. Lori has been a long advocate for economic and social justice, and she's a dear friend of ours in the Rochester region, and I would be delighted if you would please extend the cordialities of the House to her.
On behalf of Mr. Morelli, Mr. Bronson, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome you here to the New York State Assembly. We are always pleased to have such distinguished visitors. We extend to you the privileges of the floor and our thanks for the work that you're doing in your community. Please always feel welcome to come back and join us whenever you can. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I understand Mr. Santa Barbara has an introduction, and I want to get to that in just a moment. Before I do, I'd like to ask members of the Racing and Wagering Committee to go to the Speaker's conference room so they can begin their work. I know Mr. Pretlow is prepared, so members of the Racing and Wagering in the Speaker's conference room.
Racing and Wagering Speaker's Conference Room. If you beat Mr. Pretlow, he offers a prize. Mr. Santa Barbara for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to interrupt the proceedings for an introduction. Joining us today in the chamber are self-advocates from Liberty ARC in Montgomery County. They are joining us here today to talk about some of the things they're doing in their community. And Liberty ARC, founded in 1957, has been serving the community for almost 60 years. By parents of children with developmental disabilities. They support over 680 individuals in Montgomery County with employment, day supports, and residential housing. Very pleased to have them joining us here in the chamber today. Mr. Speaker, if you would welcome them and offer them all the cordialities of the House.
Certainly, on behalf of Mr. Santa Barbara, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome these great individuals here to the New York State Assembly. We commend you on the work that you are doing to assist your neighbors and friends. Thank you for being here with us and continue up the good work. Thank you. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, sir. If we could now turn our attention to page 54 of the main calendar and begin our work with calendar number 370 by Ms. Clark.
Clerk will read.
Assembly 4466, calendar number 370. Mrs. Clark, an act to amend the public health law.
The bill is laid aside.
Assembly 7617A, calendar number 371. Mr. Blake, an act to amend the public housing law.
Read the last section.
This act shall take effect on the 30th day.
Clerk will record the vote. Mr. Morelli.
Yes, sir. Just a gentle reminder to everyone, this is our first vote of the day, so members should cast their votes in the chamber, and those that can hear us but haven't made their way over should do so they can cast their first vote of the day.
First vote of the day, members. Are there any other votes? Announce the results.
Ayes 108, noes 0.
The bill is passed.
Assembly 86,
Hold on 1 minute, excuse me. Ms. Corwin for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me to interrupt the proceedings. Our colleague, Assemblyman Pete Lopez, has some very special guests here in the back of the chamber. Representing the 1,200 employees from the ARC of Ulster Green and the 1,300 people affected by intellectual and developmental disabilities who are supported by the agency. ARC of Ulster Green is celebrating their 60th anniversary this year, so it's a very special year for the organization and for the people affected by it. Present today is the Executive Director, John McHugh, as well as staff members Bozina Kowalska, Shelley Morris, Beverly Deese, Sarah Wade, Alice Caulfield, Lynn Slofkin, and Melissa Paradis, as well as the advocate, Michaela Hoskins. So if you could please extend the cordiality of the House on behalf of Assemblyman Lopez to these very special guests.
Certainly, on behalf of Assemblyman Lopez, the Speaker, and all the members, we welcome you here to the New York State Assembly. We extend to you the privileges of the floor. We wish you a happy 50th to the organization. We also thank you for the work that you're doing, taking care of friends and families in your area, and making sure that Mr. Lopez smiles a great deal today because he has visitors. Thank you. All right, also. And joined by Assemblyman Cahill. Is that you hiding over there? Right. The Sergeant at Arms and you look so much alike, I almost got mistaken. So, again, and also by Mr. Cahill. Thank you so very much. Please always feel welcome and come back and visit us.